How many of you remember the story? So in 2013, this young man was caught hiding in the tires of an aeroplane. He wanted to leave Nigeria for America, and he thought that aeroplane was flying from Nigeria to America. But unfortunately, it was flying from Benin City to Lagos State. He was apprehended by the government, and today, he's now a grown-up man, and he's here on the Lucky Do Experience to share his story. This is his story.
I went to my room, got my bag, took some clothes. I even took sweater self, took 1 can water, just in case. So when I was inside the tire compartment, the plane moved a little, then it stopped. I was like, did they see me or what? When the tires opened, let me look down to see where I am. I was not seeing black people with Lagos buses. I was like, what? Oh God, I'm still in Nigeria. I never go anywhere.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Hello, welcome back. I am Dr. Cool. In this today very video edition here, I'm going to be sharing a very exclusive interview of a guy back in 2013 who decided to do the impossible to escape the political torture, economic stampede, and aftermath effect of miseducation system in Africa that is crippling literally everything. Now, when we talk about the bad education system or miseducation system of the Western world that was actually indoctrinated in African system, a lot of people actually try to narrow it down to only it doesn't create job. But no, wait, sweetheart, it goes far more beyond not just creating job or poverty. It goes into the stabilization of African economy. We're talking about no matter any African nation which you want to name, you know exactly the ripple effect or the dominoes effect of miseducation system. Think about it like this. When you go to Nigeria, which is by exponential, you are going to see thousands of factories rotting down. You are going to see millions of unemployed youths roaming about. And you are also going to see on that side, which is very concerning, are like thousands of people who are trooping into school every year. It doesn't end there. You think you heard it all? No, I am just getting started. We're also talking about hundreds of thousands of people who are getting graduated out of the so-called university, polytechnics, and monotechnics that is scattered all over different parts of Nigeria. And here is the crazy part. When these people roll out of college, as they so call it, they get graduated with literally nothing in their brain. Why? Because the miseducation system only teaches compliance. Just copy what you saw in the textbook and write it so that you can pass exam. Wait, so you are trying to tell me that the real objective mission of the Western education system in Africa is just to pass the exam? Yes, is that crazy? Because this very education system is not actually structured into empowering the youth for graduation. That is why when most of them graduated from school, be my guests, they only have certificate, which is just a mere paper. But up here, they are empty. And that is, by extension, what a miseducation system can do. Now, if you think that is all, no, it's not all. Think about it like this. The education system that doesn't fuel Nigerian economic growth or African growth, in the labor market they can't fit in the society, they can contribute anything meaningfully into the society. It is that crazy, yes. So now, that begs some sort of $1 million question like, what the heck will the graduate do when they graduated from school? That's a very interesting question. Absolutely nothing. And this, by extension, is what bettered what we call brain draining. Yes, think of it like using some sort of drill bit and put on someone's brain and keep pulling all that gunk of brain out. That is what they call brain draining, where people graduated, students, you name it, graduated out of college, and all they're handed over is just a mere paper to become a perpetual job hunter out of season and in season. And in this very regard, they have no any other option than to start looking at, be my guest, Europe, America, or Canada. Did I mention Canada? Austria, in order to contribute into the society. Why? Because the society has already been structured to accept workers, workforce that can work in factory, do many jobs, and not being a CEO. They are not traveling there to become a CEO or to start building an empire or industries. No, they are going there to go and do many jobs, because the very environment where they have been indoctrinated and have a lot of garbage conjectures in their brain have only made them to become nothing but miscreant and useless to that society. And therefore, the only place where they can find themselves useful is in the West. Yes, is that very crazy? So in this very video today, I'm going to be sharing that very exclusive video where a young guy, far back in 2013, decided to risk it. and shared his own life into a flying airplane with the perception that every airplane that flies out of Nigeria that takes off from the ground is going to wear United States of America. Wait, how did he get to know that? Well, you are going to hear from him soon. And I'm going to be back shortly after that very video because it is interesting and we need to watch it and see how the very movie we watch and the very society that shapes our own children, how we mold them into something else, because even we, the parents, most African parents, have actually forgotten the real reason of going to those schools, the primary objectivity of going to those Western miseducation schools. So a lot of them are prioritizing, I want my children to be doctor, without even serious introspection of what or talent which he is inborn with or she is inborn with. But I want my children to be a doctor, engineer. Be my guest. In the African curriculum, there is no serious educational course that can actually graduate thinkers, innovators, solution providers, or change makers in the society. It is terrible. Watch this right video and I'm going to be right back shortly afterwards.
Took one can water just in case. So when I was inside the tire compartment, the plane moved a little, then it stopped. I was like, did they see me or what? When the tires opened, I like, let me look down to see where I am. I was not seeing black people with Lagos buses. I was like, what? Oh God, I'm still in Nigeria. I never go anywhere.
Oh my goodness, bro, I can't believe this is you. You're not a big boy, yo.
Thank you so much.
So what gave you the courage to make that decision?
Well, I was 13 years old in 2013, and the reason or what gave me that courage was the way my family or the way I was living. It was really during that period, because my mom, she was the only one taking care of me and my siblings. She's an hairstylist. Most times she do go out and even come home late just to put food on the table for us. And life was very, very difficult that time. And I love watching movies, mostly American movies. I love watching movies, and I saw the way they were living there, and I'm like, oh, I wish I can live there also. So during that period, even before that time, I did what I did. I was already having the thoughts like, since I am always watching the movie, I'm always seeing them as they are living, maybe I will try my best and do what they are doing, because I was still a little boy that time. I didn't even know anything about the flight or anything like that. So on 2013, when I was 13 years old, August 24th, early in the morning, as early as 4 a.m. to 5, I was still awake watching movie. So the idea just came into me like, look, time to do this, time to just go and do it. So I went to my room, got my bag, took some clothes. Normally I know that's very cold. I would took sweater self, took one can water just in case. So because my school was close to airports that time, and I used to pass back of airports as shortcut home. I was schooling in government school, Ogbe, at Ringwood, at down Papala side, Ogbe, the name of the school.
So from your school, you used to see plane going and coming.
Yeah.
And you thought every plane
is going to
America.
I didn't know there are different ways to go to America. So on that day, I left the house as early as 5. I trekked down to airport because we were staying at Ekran Road, Trade Fair. So I knew some shortcuts that I can easily take me to airport easily. So when I got to the airport, it was 6 a.m., 6 to 7 a.m. in the morning. And I went back to the airport because the fence was all those iron net fence. So I found a hidden way I can go inside, because there's a spot in the fence that was cut away down. The fence downside was kind of cut. So I just passed through the inside the airport. So I waited for a very, very long time. It was a very long time until the time got to 9 a.m. I was sitting on the runway on the plane where the plane will pass and go. So my mind was like, Daniel, just chill, just go back. Nothing is happening. Nothing is going to stop. So the moment I went to just leave, that's when I saw the plane coming to land. And I went to hid among the tall grasses there because there was tall grasses around. So I went to hid among them. I went to hide. After the plane discharged the passengers and load again, ready to take off, I ran outside and I stood at the plane, at the side, under the plane. I've not entered yet. I was debating whether to go to the front tire or the back tire, but the plane had not yet moved. It's still standing still, waiting for a signal to go. So I just, okay, let me just go back. Let me go back to the back tire. I went to the back tire, I climbed inside, and I sat down. I sat down in between the tire compartment because there was something that was separating the tires from touching. So I sat down there, and I waited.
Okay, the tire, you sat in the middle.
Yes, there was something that is dividing
separating the tires from touching
yes.
each other. Okay.
So I sat down there and I waited. So the plane.
Nobody saw you, no staff, nobody.
Nobody saw me because
there was no staff there. What?
There was staff there because before I did that, I've already planned their security. I already researched how they are in and out of the security, how which time this one will be around, which time that one, because I've already planned it. But the only thing I didn't plan was where the plane was going. I had no idea about that one. On my own, that every plane that is going to outside the country. So I've already researched everything already, just to make everything work perfectly. So when I was inside the tire compartment, the plane moved a little, then it stopped. I was like, did they see me or what? Everything was okay. But later on, the plane started moving again. For the plane took off.
Were you
and
not
left.
scared?
I was not scared.
You lie.
No, seriously, I was not scared. Actually, it was very, very funny.
The wind was not too much.
No, it was so comfortable, like when I'm sitting on this chair. It was really comfortable. So when the plane left and the tires closed in, I took my can water, I drank, and I was sitting down comfortably. So it took a little too while. I started feeling pains in my ears, and this pain was very, very, very painful. Like, it was very painful because I know that I was close to the engine. Because normally, if plane is in the sky and on the ground, even if it's on the low, something is very too much. Don't have you being close to the engine. So the pain was too much. I couldn't bear it. So after some time, after some minutes, the pain just ceased, as if nothing was going on, as if there was no pain again. I was happy. After some little while, I was still there, just while the wait time. So I felt like the tires want to open. I was like, is it so quick? I've gotten to where I'm going. When the tires opened, I let me look down to see where I am. I was not seeing black people with Lagos buses. I was like, what? Oh God, I'm still in Nigeria. I never go anywhere. Just stay. So when I found out like I was in Nigeria, I was like, how come? Why? Like, what happened? I thought the plane was going to Americans. I was supposed to be seeing white people, not black people. Why am I seeing black people? I said, okay, let me just calm down. If the plane land, I will find something else. I'll look for something to do next. So when the plane now landed, I was still inside. I didn't come out. I was still inside because I was trying to come out as the passenger. As I'm coming out, I would just come out. It looked as if I was inside the plane. So the first attempt I came outside, nobody was there. They were still inside. I climbed up again. I waited again. I came down again. Nobody was still there. They were still inside. And I went inside again. On the third time, I didn't know that one security personnel was coming towards that place. I just jumped on his front. That is how they caught me.
Wow. 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 So your plan actually worked, except that it took you to the wrong destination.
Nation.
And you were just 13 years old.
Yeah.
That's bravery. So what then happened when they found you?
While the security personnel caught me, that was then I was not afraid. That was not afraid. That was when all the fear.
What did he say immediately he saw you?
He grabbed my shirt. Is on the picture. He grabbed my shirt and hold my bag.
Okay, is this person is it this man?
Yeah, that's man. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was not hearing anything they were saying. What to my ear was making sounds because I was hearing the plain sound in my ear. I was not hearing anything at all. As if that moment I was kind of deaf. I couldn't hear anything at all. All I was hearing was just this plain sound. So they took me inside the airport. They took me to one small cell in the airport there. That was then I knew I can pray. I was praying like I was a prayer warrior. I was praying anyhow. So
what were you praying for?
I prayed for God to help me. I'm sorry, I didn't know what happened, what got into me. I didn't know what happened, what got into me. So after everything, they now took me to State Secret Service in Lagos. There. So that was that was where I was for over a month plus.
Your family did not know about you?
My mom was looking for me that period. But they didn't know I was there.
But the whole news had broken.
Yeah, the whole news had broken. But because the only person that knew I was planning this thing was my brother, the second to last, Desmond. That one, the other one I told, like, look, one day I will do this thing. That one, they will still believe me. So my brother was like, according to my mom, what my mom told me after everything, my brother was like, Mommy, go and check airport. My mom like, no, I cannot do that kind of stuff. So when my uncle that was in America, and I saw the news on Facebook that, CEO, that's what I did. So my mom now took her friend who was a barrister that time to meet my dad so that they should come and meet me in Lagos and see what they can do. On getting there, my dad didn't accept, so my mom now left on her own. She now came to Lagos with a friend, she now came to Lagos. So we actually spent another week in Lagos before the governor of Benin, Adam Oshomole, at that time, now sent for me. So the following week, we came to Benin and we met with the governor of that time, Adam Oshomole, and we spoke, we talked, and he gave me scholarship. And I was kind of staying in the government house during that period before I started schooling, secondary school. It was actually a boarding school, Edo College.
Now, let's go back to Secret Service. You were there for 1 month.
Yeah.
What was happening while you were there?
I was enjoying my stay there. Like
were they asking you questions?
They didn't ask me much questions. They didn't ask me how I did that, who gave me the idea, what happened, why, all kind of stuff. But everything was okay there.
They were taking good care of you?
Yeah, they were taking good, very, very care of me. I was even wishing I could stay longer.
So they finally then brought you back to Edo State?
Yes, because...
Then when they brought you back, the Edo State governor, Oshomole, met you?
Yes, he sent for me because I was staying... Because when they brought me from Lagos, I went straight to Benin State Security Service also. So I spent the night there. The next morning, I went to the government house. Some cars, they took me to the government house with some escorts. So I went to the government house to meet the governor there.
Nice one. So then the government gave you a scholarship for secondary school,
Yes.
not for tertiary institution.
Also with that, as in from secondary school
Mm-hmm.
to my university,
Wow. What were some other things they promised you?
the one thing they promised me was that, okay, I will go to that side I'm planning or I want to go.
That they'll really take you to America?
Yes.
They told you they'll take you to America.
They think they'll take me to America. That's so and so that they'll support me, support my mom in her business, and you'll also support me in everything I'm doing. But all I'll say is I'm very grateful for the scholarship it gave me, with the government gave me. I'm very, very grateful. But to be sincere, like, to be honest, I won't say that is, I'm very grateful, yes, but I won't say that is really what I wanted that period, even up to now. I'm actually done with school. I graduated from AAU. I'm studying university in Nepoma, accounting. So, but nothing has actually changed. It was only as if it was only the school that was there. Even up to now, we were still struggling.
But they didn't promise you anything apart from your education.
That is what I'm saying. They promised me that they will support me.
They never did.
They never did.
What about your mom? Did they support her?
No.
Okay. Well, the most important thing, which of course is basic
Yeah.
education, that's what was given to you,
Yeah.
because the government felt that, okay, that is what every child deserves, education. So I really can't tell, but the beautiful thing is that you survived that.
Yeah.
You survived the whole experience. And while you were in school, was there any sort of privilege, like maybe monthly allowance or something?
No.
Nothing like that. So it was your mom that was taking care of you.
Yes. What they really do is give me the money for the school fees. That was all.
Okay. Who was giving you the money?
It was there was a lady under everything that was taking care of everything. All I want to do is to just go to the office and get the money.
What's the name of the office? What's the name of the lady?
Her name was Mrs. Sende.
Mrs.
Sende
Okay.
in government house.
Okay, so you have to go to government house
to-
every.
Before the school resume to get my school fees.
Okay. Which school was that?
My secondary school was Decolonize boarding school.
Okay, it was a boarding school.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. What you did was really courageous, honestly. I don't think a lot of people would have wanted to take a decision like that. I can't imagine how difficult your life must have been for you to have taken such a very risky decision, because I'm sure by now you have also researched other stories of stowaway.
Yeah, I did.
You heard that some of them lost their lives.
Yeah, I did.
So you were very lucky to have even survived that. And thank God it was a short distance flight, 1 hour.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was like a 7 hours flight. Do you think you'd have survived that? What about your health? Were you giving medical attention?
No.
You didn't tell them that you can't hear,
I told them.
but they didn't take you to hospital.
They didn't take it that serious.
They didn't even call a doctor to see you.
No.
Hmm.
Even right now, as we are talking, I'm also hearing the sound.
The sound of the airplane. After how many years? 14, it's 13 years now.
Yeah.
Wow. So sorry. So what is life at this moment for you? What's life like? You've graduated from school. What are you doing? How is your family doing? How is everything? What about your younger ones?
Well, life after school, I would say nothing has really, really changed. I'm still struggling, and I'm an hairstylist. I'm also an hairstylist. I do ladies' hair. I also barb. So that's my skill. I went into that one since, just in case if nothing worked out. My mom, she's still around. She's still struggling. My sister, my siblings, they are still around. My sister is already done with school. She's still looking for a job, but everybody's still fine. But I would say it's still hasn't been easy. Because right now, my mom lost her shop. Her siblings drove her out of her shop after my grandmom died. So my mom, she don't have anything she's doing. She's actually looking for a place or anywhere that she can start up her business, anything at all. So I haven't been able to even support as much, but I'm still trying my best because it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy at all. I'm not gonna lie.
I am certain that is quite
I'm 25.
a long video form right there. In order for you to complete that very video there, the name of the guy who I give credit here is actually the person who interviewed this very guy who did a lot of job into coming to interview this young man who have taken the bull by horn even at a very little age. And that very age is very critical because imagine the passion that lies inside his heart to liberate the family from poverty. Then imagine hundreds of thousands and millions of graduates in Africa that are getting out of school only to face the horror of the society because they can literally contribute near to nothing to the society that they came from. And the reason why I decided I want to speak on this very matter here is because the Western education system is only structured to make us to look outside the confines of our own environment for greener pasture. And that is why a lot of people today, 90% of people who are in Africa, if you handed over visa to US or Europe to them right now, based on what they have been seeing in the movies, they will not hesitate to jump right in without wasting any time. But however, for Africans who are watching, for a lot of Nigerians who are watching this very video, who have watched this video down to this very part, I'm going to be sharing a clip of US, which is the same US you see different high-rise buildings. And some of the hidden fact about US, which the mainstream media will never cover, is what I'm going to be revealing after that very video. So watch it carefully, and I'm going to go ahead into releasing the bombshell. And after that very bombshell, I'm certain that some sort of mental enslavement which you have right here will start to defragment into tiny particles that will never enslave you into putting yourself in invisible core.
If you're from New York,
into the Western world again.
You know where I'm at.
Watch this video carefully.
This is the third world country of New York City that's getting ripped apart, honestly. As you can see, they're coming up. If you guys are wondering if this stadium's coming up, they're moving hella quick. Oh, I'm fucked here. I gotta go around. But how we getting around? Civilize. How we doing?
This very video here, a lot of you will never believe on the first face value that this is actually United States of America if suppose the license plate in those cars, or you're not seeing white guys there. Of course, there are a lot of African countries that you're gonna see a lot of white people there. Now let me go into offloading the bombshell, a lot of you who have waited to this very moment here. Do you know that in America, in West right now, the system is actually milking their citizens dry? If you don't understand what that means, if you buy a smartphone, you're gonna pay tax. Before you sell the smartphone in their markets, be it online or offline, you're gonna pay tax. Tax everything. No, that's just the scratching. That's scratching the surface. Here's a bigger picture. In the house where you live, it is expensive. A lot of people are now living in the van. Something like this. People are living in the car year after year just to avoid the huge expenses that comes from living in the house. And a lot have been evicted into living in a hotel. Hotel in Africa is luxury. Home is easier. House is easier, paying for house rent. Now, there is another bigger picture to living in the Western world. I want you to understand that they don't have the structure of the African system where you find a true home. In the sense that, for instance, if you are in Nigeria or living in Abuja and you go to Maitama and you decide you want to shop for what you want to use to cook that very day for grocery stuffs, right? Or food ingredients. If it looks expensive, if you price them and they are on the high side, you can decide to go a little bit lower and travel down to some other sub-markets like Induse Alhaji. And if you feel that those people who are still there, the price is a little bit more high, you can go a little bit down more. The more you travel just a little bit kilometer from one particular estate or suburb to another, the price of food commodity and grocery stores start coming down. What am I trying to say in a nutshell? If the price of grocery stores or food items you find in Mitama market is not conducive for you, or the one in Asokoro is not conducive for you, you can go to Duse Alhaji. If it is not okay with you in Duse, you can go to Buari. If it is not okay with you, you can go to Zuba. If it is not okay with you, you can go to Suleja or Madala. The more you travel, the more you get lower, cheaper items that you can cook your meal with. Not the same in the US or West. Hear me out. Where Elon Musk go to shop for his grocery product, whatever he want to use to cook food, is where you, the average man, you, the Nigeria, go to shop. So literally in the West, there are certain companies which are designated, industries that are designated to farm and bring every product into the grocery stores. So you are not going to bush market. There is no such thing as bush market. And I know a lot of you who are in the West are also paying attention to this very video here, because when they want to tell you about Africa, the paint is so terrible, the paint is so dark, the paint is so scary. Because why? They want you to be enslaved to the system, which you already are, and you are living paycheck to paycheck. In Africa, there is no living paycheck to paycheck. Yes, go and verify. You can live based on your earning in Africa. You can choose to live the lowest low-Q life without anyone bothering you, without anyone really pesting you with tax and all that. People own homes and property and not get to bother about taxation, be much like irrelevant in Nigeria. Yes. In Africa. Yes. But you can say the same thing about the West. You buy a smartphone, you pay tax. You buy a TV, you pay tax. Your car, you pay tax. Your home, you pay tax. Literally everything which you're seeing the white people using to intimidate you, to show you that life is this and that, are all fugazi, guys. They are all fugazi. What do I mean by that? They are all on mortgage. They can buy a car. No, they don't buy a car, they lease a car. As a matter of fact, yes, Africa are crowded with a lot of cars from salvage auction, because the West manipulates African currency so that we can afford the product they sell in the West. That's what the economic and the IMF and World Bank is all about. Now, hear me out. Due to this some sort of tight system that is as crazy, as mad as the Western world is, that's why the cops are patrolling, because it's suffocating the people. And so CNN get to do the dirty job of going to trenches in Africa and find people who are so dirty, who are living in a hut, and tell you that is Africa, to disencourage you. Because why? They know once you travel out of US and you hit Africa, you're going to experience what we call freedom, and you will never want to go back. I know there are a lot of racism in the West, which is still another version here. A lot of you who want to go to US actually haven't figured out. And those racism we're talking about here is, imagine looking at your shoulder every now and then when you're walking in the street. You haven't committed a crime, but you committed a crime because of your skin color. Research about what they call jaywalking. There are different kinds of terrible walking that you can just jaywalk, and next you are in the police custody answering torrents of questions, and next you are in jail. Wait, that is not all. If you start going to some other country that are more, a little bit, the South African side, I'm not talking about South Africa, the Southern African region, you're going to be seeing a lot of white folks right in Africa. Why? They are migrating because their system is suffocating them. Our own system is not as suffocative as that in the West. They are working their ass off every day to come and show you anything they're showing you on the screen. 95% of them are living at the mercy of flashy iPhone, mortgaged. Their home is mortgaged. Their house is mortgaged. Their car is mortgaged. And literally, the government is holding them on their balls. And therefore, if we take a look at it at a broader spectrum, you shouldn't find any need of going to the West to find a greener pasture. If you want to travel there for vacation, it's okay. You want to see the skyscrapers, you want to waste some money, it's okay. But I want you to listen to this. Ask yourself, the Chinese billionaires, the American billionaires, the European billionaires, the France billionaires, none of them make their billions in the West, but in Africa. Let that sink in. DRC Congo, Nigeria, all the rich mineral resources in Africa are there. Even the government of the Western world are exploiting Africa every minute and every second in order to sustain their life. They are living off to keep African products, raw material cheap, in order for them to live in that luxury house that are living out there. It is pretty much researchable. This is not a conspiracy theory. Now, when I talk about conspiracy theory, I want you to understand that the new trajectory or the new pet name of truth is conspiracy theory. When you're seeing a glaring truth before your eyes and the white man tells you, oh, it's conspiracy theory, I want you to understand that the gigantic element of truth that is in that very fact there is too much to handle. And they are scared of it, and that's why they have to label it a conspiracy theory. Now, one other thing which I want to let you know here is there are too many opportunities in Africa for you to thrive, either as an African or someone who is coming into Africa. As a matter of fact, the future is Africa. The West, the Chinese, cannot do without Africa, without the resources of Africa. Africa have it all. As a matter of fact, if you want to know more about Nigeria, a lot of you are in Nigeria, but you don't know what's going on in Nigeria. In the next video, which I'm going to be publishing, I'm going to publish the reality fact about Nigeria, which most of you don't understand. And since you don't know this, you are flying overseas, you are doing a lot of different things, selling your properties from here and scraping yourself only to get yourself invisible chains into the West. When I talk about cops, looking at your shoulder every now and then because of cops, no. A white lady can just look at you and feel threatened, and he calls a cop, and next, at the process of you explaining yourself, you are already in jail. You know, West and jails, putting people in jail is just a matter of, it's not like that of Africa where, except maybe by unfortunacy, right? But there, no. That's why you have more cops flowing at the street than more free money in the pocket of the citizens. Listen to that again. So, guys, tell me what you think. And for a lot of you who have already made up your mind, you are still going to Japa, believe me when I say most people who are already there, it's not that they are doing so well, but they are ashamed of coming back to come and meet those whom they have left. And in the West, if you are poor, you are owing government. It's not like that of Africa. And that's why they are doing everything possible to turn the good minds of the people who are venturing into the leaders of Africa, turning them into puppets. That is why every single day the West are betting on building nuclear arsenals and ammunitions, nuclear weapons of mass destruction of different shades. Why? Because they can't live without causing conflict. That is what is in their DNA. And where are they causing the conflict? In Africa. Wherever there is huge amount of resources, just watch out. The next moment, it's going to start spreading the fake stories on the mainstream media, and next, boom, it's happening. Destabilization, then they are sending peacekeeping, or they're sending Western aid. Oh, Africa is having malnutrition. We have to help them with GMOs, genocide-modified organizations. Well, tell them we are not interested, a lot of you guys. So tell me what you think about my own perception about how the Western system destroyed Africa. And this guy you just watched the video, which is the context of this very video today, is a testament to that very fact, where our system is so bad that no matter how DHD, HIV, AIDS, or stupid result which you have, you just don't fit in here. You're gonna keep looking up to the West. And here is the crazy part. Those who are doing and thriving very well in Nigeria didn't go to school. Yes. Those who are doing very, very well, that when you're seeing them, you're asking yourself, how did they get there? They didn't go to school. They didn't get to fill their garbage with all that congestion and theory. Why? Because I want you to look at the eastern region, because they are the most wealthiest people in Nigeria by any measure you want to talk about. But they didn't go to school. Most of them are school dropouts, because they have already seen where the trajectory of the Western miseducation system is going, is producing graduates and no empowerment. And they have decided to do the opposite. They graduate and empower. And you are not starting off from ground up or scratch. And not even to mention that in their African Eastern region school system, which you call, the servant or the boy whatsoever, when you graduate from there, if you consider the time which someone using getting his DHD, DND, HIV stain certificate, useless certificate, it's not even up to quarter. If you compare the amount the person invested in the school compared to yours, it is not even something to write home about. Most of the times you don't even pay to go to that school. All you need is just your time, sometimes 6 years, sometimes 10 years, depend on the kind of business, industry you want to study. You want to actually invest your own life into becoming something in the future. So it's high time, Africa, we abolish the miseducation system of West that is imprisoning Africa and brainwashing them to look outside their own environment and start looking at the West for hope. Why? Because this education system is only creating more chains, poverty, and criminality in our society, whether you like it or not. That is the fact. whatever is going to take you outside your own environment. And after when you finish graduation, you finish studying this, going through this whole school, and the school go through you, and you can make any impact in the society you are, and you just another bunch of nuisance that is roaming out in the street, or POS vendor or taxi driver or whatsoever. No. Just imagine this for a second. That someone who studied medicine and surgery, or someone who studied civil engineer, someone who studied architecture, someone who studied applied electricity, someone who studied geology and mining, someone who studied computer science, none of them, by any standard in Nigeria, are practicing what they study. And most of them are your POS vendor, your cooking gas seller, your taxi drivers. So if we have all the experts, people who actually studied this very course here, and they didn't practice it, so which means that education system is good for nothing. You can't be having your doctors doing POS. You can't be having your engineers who are supposed to be designing the future generation. You can't be having your computer science who are supposed to be developers being a taxi driver. And a lot of our parents are still more consumed about the ideology of going to school. My son went to university. My son went to polytechnic. After then look at it. Look at the shitty part, the plot twist. They still have to learn a trade, or they still have to come under someone who didn't go to school to make ends meet. They become a staff to someone who didn't go to school. Whether be the people you see in your pharmacy who are now replacing the hospital in Africa, they didn't go to school. The people who are business whatever business mogul which you're seeing there with billions or millions, they didn't go to school. Most of them are school dropouts. The Western miseducation system only graduated you to know how to speak useless and empty English. Nothing. But deep down you just throw that certificate away, and you can do any damn thing. Let's say fire just burned that certificate, so which means you just burned your entire life. You wasted money, you useless yourself going to Western miseducation school. Oh, I know a lot of you want to hit at me also and say, yeah, you finished. No, I'm not. Because I've actually predicted where Nigeria is going to be, trajectory where Nigeria is going to be going. Looking at how people are dropping out of college, and you have to know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody in order to get a job. That is madness. It's not based on merit. Tribalism has to kick in. The politics has to kick in. You go to church, they still collect the ones you have already worked for. You are looking for miracle. Every miracle which you need is here in Africa. Every success, every industry you want to build, the raw material is here. All you need to do as an individual is to go and study. It might not be in Nigeria, because Nigeria education curriculum doesn't actually teach you how to print PCB boards, or even the industrial farming that makes everything easier. It doesn't even teach you to be a thinker or a solution provider. So maybe you have to study in China, not even in US, because most people who travel to study in US after the whole thing, or the UK, they get offered a job so enticing that they can't afford to let go of this job. And that is what we call brain draining. So your best experts, take a look at last 2 years, Saudi Arabia kind of, Jesus Christ of white men, recruited, is it 400 doctors from Nigeria. That is just a little one of it. What about the rest of the Western world and Asian world? They are recruiting our experts every day, because the environment that we have, the school system we have, has already failed them. Where you have educational curriculum that teach 99% theory, and people are writing practical. Tell me how you're going to write your G-Wagon out. And to make matter worse, our politicians are not even doing anything better in a sense. They're also part of the tool that is used to make this whole thing worse. They are more interested in buying the latest Toyota Corolla, Land Cruiser, Lexus, Mercedes, Maybach, you name them, instead of building one in their backyard when we have the whole resources here. But all that is actually coming from the aftermath of miseducation system. Because if the school is graduating engineers, solution providers, thinkers, we will be building our own, and we'll be thinking of having equal or even more better level playing field than the Western world. But in as much as they crippled us through religion, through politics, through miseducation, we're grounded. So we have to trash all that in order to become someone in the society that can actually make impact, a positive impact, so that you can actually be able to fit into the labor market and thrive, not just survive. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the comment section.